in order for disease to actually occur, you have to have a starting point, a trigger. And so I have come up with a way of, if you put a stamp on your starting point towards disease, then you'll understand where I'm going with that. So the stamp stands for S for stressors. Now stressors, yes, it could be emotional stressors, but physical stressors tend to get overlooked. The second one is toxins, the T for toxins. I mean, we live in actually a very toxic world, so this area is a big area. The next area, A. Now, A stands for allergens. Now, allergens can be the simple things like cedar fever. What gets overlooked is food sensitivities. The next trigger is microbes. Now, fortunately, we live in the United States. We don't have to think about this one too much. There's certain parts of the country where Lyme disease may be a factor. And then finally, the American P, the poor diet. And this is where I spend a lot of my time. This is the kitchen, I call it. What I like to emphasize to my patients, though, is that it's not that just a trigger here and there is going to lead to disease. This is if the trigger is constant. It's a repeated thing. Over the last 18 years, what we've learned is the world of epigenetics. What are the stressors, or what is turning on the good genes maybe, or maybe turning off the good gene? This is called the DNA expression. The DNA expression is I mean, the DNA, all it's doing is it's helping construct your house. So let's put this in a kind of an easy way to think about this. You're the CEO, you're building your house. Now, you have a group of guys who are building a kitchen and another group of guys who are building the bathroom. Now, both groups have the map to produce the entire house, but the group that's producing the kitchen doesn't matter. They don't care about the bathroom. So the genes that are involved in the bathroom, they're producing proteins which allow us to produce and give the products to build that kitchen. Now, if you have triggers that are inappropriate or constant bad triggers, then unfortunately you're gonna look at the end product of your kitchen and go, that's not what I ordered. Well, that means that one section of the house is not functioning optimal. That's where the DNA expression occurs. I don't know if you guys ever watched the movie Inside Out, where there's 4 characters that have emotions. Well, I want you to think of it as that you actually have 7 people, 7 managers. And each of these managers is involved in a different process of building your house. The first manager is called the assimilation and digestion. Now, this is involved in all the processes from the time you choose what you put in your mouth, to chomping, to what goes down to your esophagus, into your stomach, production of hydrochloric acid and its association with pepsinogen and pepsin, and its association of how it absorbs B vitamins and magnesium, and then dumping into the small intestines and its association with the microbiome, as well as the bile and the pancreatic enzymes. The second manager is the next step. Those micronutrients and those macronutrients are absorbed. How does your immune system see it? So this is called the defense and repair manager. Now, the defense and repair manager is responsible, this is the immune system, and they help you determine if you're friend or foe. The third area, the third manager, is the cellular communication pathway. Now, I break this up into hormones, but it's much greater than just hormones. Now, the top hormones are your thyroid, your cortisol or adrenals, and your sugars, or aka insulin. The next one is the cellular transport manager. Now, this manager is involved in everything it gets transported. So it could be around blood vessels, lymphatics, but also the transporters themselves, like lipoproteins that everybody likes to call cholesterol. It's actually lipoproteins that are carrying the cholesterol and the vitamins D, E, A, and K, the fat-soluble vitamins. The next manager is involved with energy. It starts with the food, of course, in the digestion assimilation one, but that food energy gets broken down into eventually acetyl-CoA, which gets into the Krebs cycle, produces NADH and FADH2, that it gets filtered into the electron transport chain. The next manager is detoxification, and the main filter is our liver. Now, the liver is an extremely underrated organ, and 22% of our total energy is used just on filtering each day. And then the next manager is the final one. It's structural integrity manager. So this is everything from a subcellular level all the way up to the macro level, being bones and tendons and ligaments. The point to thinking about this is that you're the CEO of these 7 managers. The beauty of these 7 managers, they like to complain a lot. And if we ignore them long enough, then signs start to come out. When we ignore it and ignore it and ignore it, we eventually like to call it a disease. Ultimately, I like to remind patients that you need to be aware of your triggers. My job is to work with the 7 managers, making sure that they're not in dysfunction, and I consistently find that I'm able to eliminate or markedly reduce someone's needs for pharmaceutical medications. That is exactly how I do your initial consult as well as your follow-ups. That is BioFIT medicine.